Yeah.
We want to learn about history
Okay, and why do you want to learn about that? Why is it so important?
because colleges look at like how can you present yourself maybe in a situation.
Okay. So here's the agenda. We're going to go through why we're here today, getting to know you, roadmap, standardized testing, writing skills and letters of recommendation. It's at Harvard in your, it's Harvard, one of the schools you're considering. So what are the things you need to think about with that? It's in the horizon. A basic 7 steps plan and basically preparing for Harvard. Just to summarize what you just said, while there's no single path to becoming a compelling candidate for admission, the choices that you and your parents and guidance counselors make today during the course of high school have a significant bearing on the admissions outcome. So it's not just attending school. I mean, that's the average. That's what all kids do. You got to do more. You got to go the extra mile. You have to think about what are you going to do in the summer, what kind of classes you're going to take, when are you going to take your standardized testing, who are you going to get your letters of recommendation from. So there's a number of issues you got to consider. The earlier you start, the better. At the end, what you want to find is a match to your interest, a match to where you feel you're going to be comfortable spending the next 4 years, a match to what you're going to study, the environment, roommate, everything comes into play in this decision. It's a very important decision. Don't take it lightly. Don't go with rankings. Not necessarily rankings are the final decision making. There's people who go to school that are probably not top tier 1 or top 10, but those are the schools you want to consider because those are the schools that have classes you like. So necessarily rankings are not what should be determining your final decision. So what are colleges really looking for? They want to know if you can do the work. That means, do you have the ability to do the work? They want to know if you have the commitment. Will you do the work if you get admitted? What else do you bring to the table? Do you have a special skill? Do you play a musical instrument? Are you good in sports? Are you good in debate? Are you very good in physics? Have you written papers or done investigations? Those are the things that I want to look at when it comes to you being on top of other kids and asking the school, take me, I have special skills. I'm going to add and contribute to the community of the university. The SAT is only going to say that you can do the work. Your GPA is going to tell them that you will do the work. Those are the two very important factors, SAT or ACT and GPA. The most important pieces of your application. The personal statement and the essays are the second most important part of the application. Why do you think the essays are so important? Anyone? Public universities like Texas A&M or UT, those schools will give you credit for those AP classes. Most likely, out-of-state universities will not. So most of them will not give you credit. You'll be spending the money just to basically show that the kid has taken the test and scored a 4 or a 5, a high grade. In the end, that also helps the kid. It's an investment in the long run. I mean, it's $98 per class. It's a chunk of money. If you take 4, it's $400 basically. There's no refund. So if you decided to back off the last minute, you lose your money unless you're in a senior year. They'll refund you 50% of it. So it is a considerable amount of money. In the end, what I think is you're better off doing it because you don't know where you're going to end up going. If you're planning on staying in Texas and going to Texas A&M or UT, it's worth doing it. If you're not, it's still worth it because your resume is going to show that you actually challenge yourself, not just took the class, but actually had the courage to go and sit on that exam and score a 4 or a 5. If you don't score a 4 and a 5, I don't think it's even worth mentioning on your resume. It could probably hurt you more than help you, unless the school demands then you need to provide an evidence of every single test you've taken. So I don't know if that answers your question, Isa. It's a difficult one because it really depends on what you're planning in the long run.
Yeah, I to be honest, I know the answer. Yeah, but sometimes it is hard for the parents to understand why I need to pay that.
So you're trying to build the kid's resume. And you build their resume by showing GPA, the SAT subject matter scores, which top is 800 points. AP's top 5%, top 5 is the score. What they did over the summer, what awards they've won. You're trying to build a resume that highlights a lot of skills and a lot of commitment from your son. And that's why it's important that take advantage of the AP. If you score a 5, it's worth putting it there. Sure.
For the heavier years, like junior and senior, is it okay to just skip a test? Maybe yes.
No. So the question is, for the heavier years like junior to senior, is it worth it skipping them? For junior year, I would say don't, because for the admissions committee, the junior year is the most important one.
I mean, like you take a class, but not the exam.
If you take the class and you do well, why not take the test? Right? So you already made all the effort during the year. It's just, and the teachers are going to give you a review to sit on the test. Why not take it? And in the end, if you get a 3 and you don't feel comfortable putting it in your application, you just don't even mention it. But if you get a 5, here's my 5. So in the end, you're better off taking them. Senior year is different because if you're already taking a lot during sophomore and junior year, and the school you're going to, let's say you're going to UT, and UT only takes 4 or 5, and you're already taking 4 or 5 during sophomore and junior, then it's not worth taking more during senior year because they won't be considered by the university. They won't give you credit for it. You're probably spending money that you want to save for college. You really don't need it. That will be the only scenario where I would think, no, don't go for it. You already have plenty, all 5s, no more. Most of you took the PSAT last week.
Ya, permiso. La presentación la tienen en el chat, así que si no quieren, no tomen foto.
Most of you took the PSAT last week.
Ya, permiso. La presentación la tienen en el chat, así que si no quieren, no tomen foto.
Scholarships and being a National Merit Scholar, being the top less than 1% student in the nation, it's a very important award in your resume. So 7,500 kids get National Merit Scholarship out of 2.2 million. So PSAT is the first step towards getting there. This is the year where you start testing for SAT and ACT. Get ready for probably taking it no more than 3 times. That's my advice. Don't take it more than 3. If you score 1,500 on SAT, not worth testing it again. Not really. The likelihood of getting 20, 30 points higher isn't there for the effort. 1,500 points is a really good score. But if you score 14, 15, I would probably retake it.
The SAT.
The SAT. For the ACT, the max is 36. It's a different test that also covers science. Some kids take both. When they want to go to a top 1, tier 1 school, they take both to show that they're consistently good in math, writing, reading, and science. But it depends on where you want to go. Most of the schools are okay with just one, either the SAT or the ACT. Senior year, keep up your grades, don't slack. Don't slack on the senior year. Go ahead.
If you put the ACT multiple times,
Same, I would recommend same, but overall, don't take both more than 5 times.
like what's a good score for the ACT?
36 is a perfect score. Rarely kids get 36. anything between, and we'll see this in a couple slides down, but anything 33, between 32, 33, 35, it's a very good score. If you are not taking a subject matter test, this is the time. Again, what we said about the SAT, retake if you're not happy with your grades. Next slide, please. A little bit of what we were just discussing. What are the grades required to impress an admissions office? Well, you want to be top student academically, GPA. You want your transcripts to show that you challenge yourself by taking as many AP or pre-AP classes. You want to make sure that also that you have taken, that you have spent time that you're off, like summer, not just playing games or going to building a hospital in Guatemala, because the admissions committee know that you're going to put, I went to Guatemala, Salvador, and build hospitals or houses. You got to do more than that. That's already running out of steam, that argument. You would like to be top 5, 10% of the class. Obviously for Texas, UT and Texas A&M will take top, I think, is it 8% or they lower to 7%? 6.
UT. And Texas A&M, they have 2 automatic admissions until this year, the top 10 and the top 25 plus 1360 on the SAT. But for the class of 2021, the 25% is no longer anymore.
Automatic admission.
No for automatic admission.
Okay, so it's demanding, and it takes effort and time. It depends on where you want to go. I mean, if you're really shooting at the top 10 schools in the nation, there's a lot of work you got to do. Now, when you have what's really important, 2 things. One is the commitment to be here today. You could be somewhere else, obviously. Got homework, it's a Monday, you don't want to start part of the week. But if you're here, it means you're interested in learning how can you get better. That's half the battle. The other half is really following guidance. How do I get there? How do I work on my GPA? How do I work on standardized testing? How do I work on letters of recommendation? And we're discussing today interviews. So we're going to move to the next slide. I would say junior year. End of junior year. By the time you finish junior year, you should have a very strong math, writing, and reading skill set that would allow you to score high. If you take it earlier, unless you're really advanced, you might get a good grade, but it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, you can do tests for free. The libraries, the Fort Bend and the Harris County Library, they do tests for free.
Tompkins is offering.
Yeah, offering. Yeah, you can at least try how they are doing. Of course, it's not the same pressure that they have on the free test that the real one, but at least they know how they're doing. If they have in the free test, they score like 1,000, doesn't make sense to do the real one. Just try to keep moving up.
What about the volunteering that?
Yes, the volunteering is one of the things you can do, not just during the year, but also during the summer. What matters to the admissions committee is that you're consistently doing something and adding value to the community. Meaning you're attending school, but you're also helping in other type of activities, as opposed to those that are just doing the basic, going to school and nothing else.
That is critical for the admission?
It's not critical, but it goes down to character of the person. Who are you? What are you bringing to the table? Are you a compassionate person? Those things that most of the people think they're not important, at least Harvard will look into it seriously.
Placings in senior year,
Every year,
even senior.
yes.
And don't stop. The volunteers hours doesn't stop when you finish high school. In universities, you have to do a volunteer time. When you are working, you have to do volunteer time. It doesn't end with your college application. You need to keep going. You need to move forward with your volunteer time and your commitment.
So you can use the volunteering as an accomplishment. Something you started from early on, and for the past 4 years, you were committed to that institution, working and helping others doing X, Y, Z.
Does it cost money to take more than one like ACT or SAT?
Honestly, don't know if you get a discount if you take the SAT for a second or third time. My son took it once, and I don't know. Isabel?
Every time that you do the SAT, you have to pay for it.
Full
Okay,
price.
if you have the free lunch, you can have a free waiver and ask for 2 SAT for free, but only if you qualify for free lunch. Okay, you can do it for free. And even if you don't eat at the school, because your mom made your lunch, but you qualify for free lunch, that makes sense to do it, because you're gonna have the 2 SAT for free, the sending the score is free, applying for the SAT subjects are free, they have the AP discount, they have 4 applications to university free. It's a saving of more than $800.
Good question. When you are thinking about who are gonna be the teachers that are gonna write your recommendation letters, you gotta choose wisely. And I say this strategically because a bad recommendation letter is fatal. So when you ask for a letter, ask your teacher, are you willing to write me a positive letter? Yes. Because they will be honest and say no. Well, thank you. You really made me a favor by saying no. Because if you say yes and you say this kid sucks, you're done. Okay? So be very smart about who do you ask and how do you ask them. Hoping they're honest with you, saying, no, I'm not gonna write you a letter. I don't know you. You didn't do well. You were always sabotaging the class. You didn't learn anything. Okay, thank you. Move on. Next one. Find one that knows you. Find one that you've taken more than a class with. Find one where you have empathy. You stay after class and talk to the teacher. Or during the summer, you wrote a paper or did some kind of investigation about that topic. So the teacher has something to say about it. Okay? And when you go talk to them, bring your resume with you. Because that teacher has a lot of kids. So she might know you, oh yeah, his name and last name, that's all I know. She's gonna end up writing a very standardized letter. Yeah, he attends class, he pays attention, doesn't say much. That hurts you. Okay? So always bring a resume with you and tell her why you want her to write, or him, a letter, where you're planning on attending, why that letter is so important.
Do you see the letters they write before they
You can waive, but it'll hurt you if you waive the right. So you're not allowed to see it. If you say, I waive my right, I want to see the letter, the school are going to say, why are you hiding that you want to see the letter? I'm sorry.
How many letters of recommendation should you have?
Well, my understanding is you get 2 letters from faculty, from teachers, 1 for your counselor, depending on the school.
So
Some
3?
schools allow you to bring a 4th letter, but it cannot be from a family member. It could be for somebody who knows you from when you were a kid and can speak about your character, for example.
Okay.
Or someone that you spend the summer working at, doing an internship or something. It depends on the school, right? Isabel?
Yeah, it depends. And it depends who you are. If you are Michelle Obama's daughter,
One
okay,
letter, no,
read the letter from the president is gonna be no good for her. Amazing. Okay, it depends. It depends who write the letter. If you're applying to engineering, math,
We'll go back to the highlighted word character later on, but these are the basic 7 steps. Work hard for high grades. Enroll in challenging courses, AP and pre-AP. Spend time preparing for subject matter or SAT, ACT tests. Polish your writing skills. Harvard now accepts ACT and ACT without the writing component. That's new, starting this year. Establish relationship with teachers and advisors. You can write strong letters of recommendation. Again, you don't want to be a stranger to the teacher. Just be in their face. Okay, you want a good letter. Get involved in activities, community service, or work experiences that will enable you to show your values, talents, and skills. And prepare for the interview. We'll get there. So what are the schools really looking for? This is the profile of what they're really looking at. So they want kids that have taken rigorous high school curriculum. How do you do that? You take AP and pre-AP classes. If you take regular classes for 4 years, you're not challenging yourself. High grade point average, GPA. High scores on standardized testing. Great essay, providing insight into the student, and that's why it's so important for the student to be the one writing the essay. They want to know who that kid really is. Passionate involvement in few activities. So like the question you mentioned about volunteering. If you're passionate about volunteering, show me what you've done, how committed you are, what you've accomplished. Strong counselor and teacher recommendations. Another factor is ability to pay. Some of the schools do consider that because they have limited funding on scholarships and help they can provide these kids. So if there's an issue about ability to pay, that might come into question. Demonstrated leadership in or out of the school. Doesn't necessarily need to be in the school. Personal characteristics that contribute to a diverse campus. Again, the question is, what are you bringing to my university that makes you so special? Why should I take you and not this other kid that has exactly the same grade, same testing scores? What makes you unique? That's the question. What makes you unique? Demonstrated intellectual curiosity, special talents, character and values, and demonstrated interest. This last one seems like it's not very important. It's a very bottom of the list. However, some schools want to see that you attend their informative sessions, that you sign up. When they come to town, you go to their informative sessions. You go online, you ask for brochures or more information, you send emails. They want to make sure you're really interested in learning more about this college. You're not just applying because it's number 2 in the latest ranking. Okay, so demonstrated interest, believe it or not, comes into play. Okay, we're going to have to do something with these numbers because I don't think you can see everything. So if you're interested in Harvard, a couple of things you need to consider. First of all, it's primarily a graduate school. Okay, so if you don't get admitted to college, fine, you can always try for graduate. That's what they're really, really good at. Masters, PhDs. College is really a small, relatively small subset of the university. I'm not saying it's not important, but in all scheme of things, it's really a graduate school. The strongest applicants take the most rigorous secondary school curricula available to them. An ideal 4-year preparation program includes 4 years of English, 4 of math, 4 of science, biology, chemistry, physics, 3 years of history, 4 years of foreign language. They want to see that. And believe me, out of the 43,000, probably half already have that. Let's look at the statistics. And if you have any questions around the lawsuit that was ruled finally a couple of weeks back, or issues about diversity, and I'm sorry, but I don't have the knowledge to answer those questions, and I'm not at liberty to give even my own opinion about it. The school has shown that their admissions process, it's transparent. Diversity is a very important issue, and the court has already confirmed that their admissions process is transparent. So for demographics, for example, this year for the 2019 graphic origin applicants, the percentage of African Americans was 14.3, Asian Americans was 25.3, which was 20 last year. You might want to ask, you might be wondering why that changed. Well, the lawsuit changed that. So they gave the Asians a larger piece of the cake. They took that from the African Americans that had a longer piece. Now they have a smaller piece. Latinos stay the same, 12.2. Native Americans, 1.8. Native Hawaiians, 0.6. And international students, 12.8. That, if you add those numbers, not 100%. The remaining 45% is basically people who don't disclose their origin or who are considered just regular white individuals. But these numbers are important when it comes down to who are you competing with. If you will consider yourself Latino, you know you have to beat that 12%. You gotta be in that 12%. It is a really, really tough road. So let's look at the numbers for a minute here, just to see how they evolved. In 2012, there were 35,000 applications. They admitted 2,100. Overall percentage of acceptance, 6.1%. 2018, you see the number of applicants increased. They admitted even less students. Obviously, the percentage is lower. For this year, they have 43,000 applicants. They admitted 2,000, 4.6%. So for every 100 kids, only 4 got admitted. I mean, that's a really hard competition. You need to find a way to make yourself unique. For the Houston area, for last year, there were 750 applicants, only 32 got admitted. Percentage-wise, it's even lower. 4.26 is lower than what was admitted nationwide. So we have a really hard job here to do, and that's why I think what Isabella and her team are doing is really important, because it does provide the kids a lot of guidance. My advice to the kids is listen to the guidance. Sometimes you might question, why am I doing this? Don't bother asking why, just do it. Okay? Because you don't know what you don't know. And I learned that the hard way. There are some things you don't know what you're doing, but other people have been there, been there and done that, know what you should be doing it. Just do it. You gotta trust your counselor, you gotta trust your parents, you gotta trust your teachers. They're here to help you. They're here to advocate for you. They don't want you to fail, they want you to succeed. So if you have a little faith crisis, just give them the benefit of the doubt and get it done.